All right, so enough electric talk. We already know what the Scat Pack is going to look like. We already know what the RT is going to look like. That's fine. Let's talk good old-fashioned engine talk. Not V8 talk, unfortunately, not Hemi talk, but engine talk. I'm talking about the 3-liter inline-six twin-turbo Hurricane engine. That's going to be in the Dodge Charger SIXPACK, right? SIXPACK is going to come in a 2-door variant or 4-door variant, right? You can stretch it out. All-wheel drive configuration. Standard output 420 horsepower, high output 550 horsepower. That's your RT and your Scat Pack, both of which are beat in a smaller engine that's producing more power. Does that make up for the electric engines? Well, let's talk about it. Let's just go ahead and get into it, man. Let's just start this video off getting into it.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the sound of the fransonic chamber in the Banshee. That was the scream of the most power-dense internal combustion engine Dodge has ever installed in a muscle car.
Most power-dense internal combustion engine a Dodge has ever produced? That's an interesting play on words because they produced some big-ass engines. So I don't know what he meant there. Most power-dense combustible engine that Dodge has ever produced, but we'll go with it.
In 2025, the all-new Charger will also be available as a six-pack with the twin-turbo Hurricane. Standard output hits the streets with 420 horsepower, and the HO spins the dyno up to 550 horsepower. But these aren't old-school engines. No, these Hurricanes embody everything that we've learned about piston power since the doors of the Dodge Brothers shop first swung open. Twin turbos that perform like they're constantly spooled. And a driveline that houses an 8-speed transmission and an all-wheel drive system standard. But it's a Dodge. So we also let you turn it off and tear it up like a traditional rear-wheel drive muscle car.
So let's get into the specs, man. All right, so 2 days after the release, let's talk about the specs here. All right, so let's see here. 2025 Dodge Charger SIXPACK sports a 550 horsepower with twin turbo inline six. The gas-powered version, so this is the gas-powered version of the Dodge latest Charger, offers 2-door and 4-door variants, right? So you can do the 2-door coupe, which is like your Challenger, or your 4-door sedan, which is your Charger. Hurricane 3.0 liter inline six, twin turbo inline six in both standard and high output tunes. So it's just the tune difference that separates the standard output and the high output. The standard output is going to give you 420 horsepower. The high output is going to give you 550. So 420, that's your RT right there. Well, it's beating your RT. And it's coming in an all-wheel drive platform. That's your RT to 550. That's your Scat Pack. Okay. Let's see here. What else can we look at? So as of right now, the Hurricane Twin Turbo 3-liter inline six is already in the Jeep Wagoneer. It's already in the Grand Wagoneer. And it will be in the 2025 Ram 1500. So, I mean, this is the engine that Dodge is pretty much going to base their entire, gas-powered line off of, right? So instead of the Pentastar or instead of the 5.7 Hemi, everything's going to be Hurricane Twin Turbo 3-liter inline six. That's what's going to be in the Jeeps. That's what's going to be in the Rams. I would assume the Chryslers. That's what Dodge is going to, put their the weight of their fleet on. The Charger SIXPACK HO, which stands for high output, is beefed up muscle car duty. While the Wagoneer produces 510 horsepower and the Ram produces 540, the Charger's oomph is boosted all the way up to 550. It literally says oomph. All the way up to 550, which is just 10 more than the Ram and 40 more than the damn Wagoneer. The Hurricane engine in the Ram has a torque of 469 in the standard and 521 in the high output. So we don't know the torque in the Charger as of yet, but it'll be 530, 540, something like that. So if you want to do old-fashioned Scat Pack 392 numbers, the 392 was 485 horsepower and had a pound-feet torque of 475. So in every way, shape, form, and fashion, it's a more powerful car. And it's an all-wheel drive variant, so you're getting off the line. It's definitely going to produce more power. What else can we talk about here? Like I said, it comes in a 2-door and 4-door. So if you want kind of that Challenger coupe style, you can do that. If you want that Charger coupe or the Charger sedan, you can do that as well. Which I think, it's a unique way of combining the Challenger and the Charger for them to do the 2- and 4-door variant. Just because it's like, They're killing the Challenger, which was obviously the two-door coupe muscle car, but they're keeping the Charger. You know what I'm saying? And they initially presented the Charger as a two-door coupe, taking it back to its roots, and then they say they're going to add the four-door variant as well. So in one trim, or in one car, I guess, the Charger, you're getting both the Challenger feel and the Charger feel in one. So they're killing the Challenger, but essentially the Charger is going to take on both of those. You get the 12.3-inch touchscreen, 10.3-inch digital cluster. You've all seen the interior. We've already talked about it. Does this, let's talk, so does this do anything for you? Does this inline six twin turbo six pack do anything for you that the electric engines didn't? You know, the electric engines are going to be producing much more power. I mean, what do we see? 496 is going to be the RT all the way up to 670. So the electric beats, you know, the six pack in every way, shape, form, and fashion. All-wheel drive, obviously, in the electric as well. The body's going to look the same, I would imagine. I would think that the Hurricane is probably going to have some sort of hood outlets or hood inlets so that they can produce some sort of airflow to cool the engine. Because I imagine inline six engine or not, it still gets hot. You know, probably not as hot as a V8, but it still gets hot. Does this do anything for you? 550 horsepower in an all-wheel drive Charger that comes in two-door, four-door variant. Does this do anything for you? Top speed, 130. The top speed will probably be 130, 120, something like that. Maybe more than that because it's a combustion engine. Probably more than that. Does this do anything for you? I mean, that's kind of what I just got to flat out ask you. For me personally, no, not at all. And the reason that I say that is having had a Scat Pack, or having started with a V6 that was right at 292 or 300, whatever you want to call it, and then moving up to the Scat Pack at 485. For me to trade in my Scat Pack at 485 just to go to 550, just for an additional 65 horsepower in an all-wheel drive platform and an engine that's going to be quieter than what I already have, no, it's not. You know, it's not at all. I understand that obviously it's more powerful than a Scat Pack on paper. It's all-wheel drive, so you shouldn't have to worry about the spin, you know, and all that stuff that we all hate. But is it enough of an upgrade for me to trade in my naturally aspirated big 6.4-liter V8 Hemi for a 550 horsepower, 3-liter inline six twin turbo? Nah, it's not. It's not. I got to be real with you. It's not. And I'm speaking from Scat Pack to six pack. So from a Scat Pack V8 392 to a six pack, absolutely not. Now, if you have an RT or a V6, this may be an upgrade for you. On paper, this will be an upgrade for you, depending on what your RT looks like. Because some of you guys got your RT so stacked and so modified, it can take down almost a Hellcat, you know? So in those cases, obviously don't do it. But for you guys that's got kind of, you know, a regular RT and you're not really modifying it or anything like that, and you're just kind of waiting for the future, this might be considered an upgrade for you. For the Scat Pack guys, personally, I don't think this is an upgrade. I would not trade in my slim body, my wide body, my Charger, my Challenger, my TA, especially if you have one of the special editions. Like if you got a TA or a Daytona Charger or Challenger, no way. If you got like one of those Mopar Blue editions, no way. You better not. What else? If you got a Super B Charger or a 1320 Challenger, hell no. You better not trade your car in for that. Those are legitimate, you know, collector's items that 10, 15, 20 years from now, provided you keep it in good condition, those cars are going to be relics of the time, you know, because you'll never get to see that engine, that configuration ever again, especially if you got a Super B Charger or a 1320 Challenger. Like those are those are baby demons. That's what they call them. Those are cars that's made specifically to go to the track and win, you know? So hell no. If you got a Scat Pack, this is not, in my opinion, this is not an upgrade whatsoever. Personally, this might be more of a lateral move. It might even be a downgrade depending on how you look at it, man, because I've heard twin turbo engines, twin turbo V6 engines. And I understand this is not a V6, but I can always tell the difference. You know, I can always tell the difference between an inline six or a V6 and a V8, whether it's twin turbo or not. Now, power is there. 550 horsepower, all-wheel drive, you're beating damn near all scats. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not all scats, especially like a 1320. If you got, you know, perfectly prepped surface, drag radials, you know, it's going to give it a run there. But personally, I would not. To go from a Scat Pack to a 6-pack, I would not. I would not at all. And that's going to lead me into another video that we're going to talk about. But, you know, if you're in the market and you got an RT and this shit isn't interesting you whatsoever, and when I say this shit, I'm talking about this 2025 Dodge Charger 6-pack stuff, it's going to be $392 time. And the prices will drop. We're going to talk about that in another video. Trust me when I say, I've got some news for you guys. I talked to somebody and he's, long story short, he's plugged in at Dodge. And long story short, he told me, I'm not going to say that again, but he told me that the 392s, the RTs, and the Hellcats, you're going to be able to get them for dirt cheap. And like I said, we'll talk about that in another video. We're going to the specifics. But so I say all that to say, you're going to be able to either get a monster 392 engine or even a monster Hellcat engine, right? Or you're going to be able to get a 3-liter inline 6 twin turbo Hurricane engine with 550 horsepower. You know, I'll put it to you like this, man. If you're not a part of Dodge right now and maybe you're looking to get into a muscle car, but you don't want to deal with that V8 lifestyle, you don't want to deal with being at the gas station all the time, or you just want something that's new, want kind of like the brand new, because you got a lot of guys that wants the new, then by all means, go ahead and get you a Dodge Charger 6-pack. And you don't want to go the electric route, because the reality of the situation is a lot of people drive Chargers and Challengers, Durangos, Rams, Chryslers that live in apartment complexes, that live in townhome complexes, or they just live in housing developments where they don't have the ability to plug their damn car up every night. So it's like that SRT Banshee, the Scat Pack, and the RT, it's not even feasible for the average American. Not to mention, let's be real here, man. Like, I'll put this, so I mean, it's one of those things, like, it's not even feasible for the average American to have an EV car, let alone a 670 horsepower EV car, you know, let alone 1,000 horsepower or 800 volt, whatever the case may be, EV car. So a lot of Americans, 60, 70, 80, 90% of Americans are going to be looking at traditional engines, ICE, internal combustion engines, ergo the 3-liter inline 6 or big V8s, you know. So these are going to sell much more than the electric cars initially, I think. But at the same time, if you're already in Dodge like that and you already have a Hemi, I don't consider this an upgrade. Even though power-wise, it's an upgrade. Even though all-wheel drive, it's an upgrade. But let's just be real here. Let's just keep it 100. I didn't buy my Scat Pack or my Hellcat because it was, you know, a logical decision. As in, you know, it was an economical choice, or it was a rational car to buy. There's nothing rational about a 485 horsepower muscle car V8 that drinks gas like, you know, I'm drinking water right now. There's nothing logical about that. You're at the gas station every 2, 3, 4 days, right? All the parts are expensive. People try to steal our cars like crazy. They're very fast, but they're very dangerous. People die all the times in these cars. Unfortunately, people have crashes, they have accidents, sometimes fatal. It's a sad situation. We buy these cars because, you know, we don't buy them for the luxury. We don't buy them for the technology. We buy them for the experience. Let's just keep it 100 here. We buy them for the V8 experience. I bought that Hellcat because I want that V8 experience. I want that 700 plus horsepower experience. I want to have that kind of fun, you know? I could have gone out and got a fucking Kia Optima or what else? We could have went out and got a Toyota Avalon, you know what I'm saying? A big sedan that's spacious, that's luxurious, that's good on gas, probably got a better interior, probably got better technology and cheaper. We could have all done that, but that's not why we own these cars. We own these cars for the fun factor, for the community, for the power, for the looks, for the sound, for the experience. I don't see any experience and sound in any of that in this 6-pack right here, or the electric Charger for that matter. Now, I'm sure that you could probably tune this car up, throw an exhaust on, and have it real loud and screaming and all that stuff. That's true, because it is still very much so an ICE, you know, internal combustion engine. But it's like, it's not a Hemi. It's not a V8. You're not going to get the same thing, especially if you're a guy like me and you know what a Scat Pack feels like and sounds like. You know what a Hellcat feels like and sounds like. You've already got that in your mind. And you already know what those cars did for you when you owned them. And you go from that to this. I don't consider this an upgrade at all. I consider this honestly either a lateral move or a downgrade, depending on which route you're coming from. Even going from an RT to a 550 horsepower six pack, I'm not feeling that, to be honest with you. Just because I've seen a lot of monster RTs out there, and when you guys do them upright and you know, lower them and throw the rims on them and throw a wide body kit, those RTs look clean, right? They look clean that way or just standard, either way. But you still got that 5.7 Hemi under. Like, it's something to talk about. Like, I don't see myself being at gas stations and somebody saying, "Oh, what kind of engine you got in there?" Or, "I got a twin turbo 3-liter Hurricane inline six." A what? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I go to the gas station now, especially when I have my Scat Pack, people always say, "Oh, what kind of engine you got in there?" "Oh, 392, 6.4 liter V8 Hemi, naturally aspirated." "Oh, what kind of engine?" "Oh, I got a 717 horsepower Hellcat engine. You know, 650 pound-feet of torque. It's a monster." "Oh, wow, supercharged." "Oh, yeah, look at my supercharger." "Oh, yeah, that silver thing. Yeah, look at that." Conversation piece. 3-liter Hurricane inline six, twin turbo. I don't want to talk about this. I don't even want people asking me questions about this. Like, listen, man, I'm just here to get my gas, get me a Monster energy drink, some beef jerky, and I'm going home. Leave me alone, all right? I'm going to take my all-wheel drive 3-liter inline six home, all right? Leave me alone. Like, there's just nothing fun about these cars anymore. Even this six-pack joint. Like, I'm trying to reach for reasons as to why this would be cool, but I'm not feeling it, man. Especially when we have what we have right now, which is why I'm going to make another video here pretty soon about, you know, the dying V8s right now and how profitable or how good they're going to look in the next coming months. But long story short, let's go ahead and put a button on this. I'm not feeling this six-pack at all. If you already own a Scat Pack, especially one of the special editions, whether it's a Daytona, whether it's a TA, whether it's a 1320, Super B, any of those last call editions, it makes no sense to trade that in for this. That would not be an upgrade. That would be lateral, if not a downgrade, to be real with you. I understand the power. There is a power difference from 550 to 485. I understand there's a torque difference. I understand that this 2025 joint is coming in an all-wheel drive system. I'm fine with that, but at the same time, if you already have a Scat Pack, or even if you have an RT and you're content with that RT, this would not be an upgrade. Personally, I don't think so. Would I go this route over an electric route? Probably so, just because, like I said, it's not feasible for the average American to have an electric car. But you know, I'm so kind of deep in the Hemi talk or the Hemi conversation that it's just hard for me to see my way out of that and see this as a legitimate car. If I never owned a Hemi and Dodge dropped this, then maybe. But given the fact I know what I know about these cars, it's hard for me to forget and move on, you know. And if having had a Scat Pack and loving that car as much as I did, having as much fun as it is, or as I did with it, I couldn't go from that to this six-pack. Now, that's just me personally. A lot of you guys may look at it and say, "Oh, there's more power. It's all-wheel drive. It's the perfect muscle car. It's good on gas, all that stuff, or it's better on gas than our Scat Packs." That is very true. Very true. On paper, the numbers look good. But the experience, I don't know. I've never driven personally a twin-turbo 3-liter inline six Hurricane engine, but I can imagine it's probably not as fun as a 392. But then again, that's just me there. That's just me talking. Talk to me, guys. How do you feel about it? The Dodge Charger SIXPACK, does it do anything for you? Does it make you want to, for one, purchase it, two, trade in what you're already driving? Would you go from a Scat Pack to a six-pack? I don't know. See you guys in the next one, man. Peace.